Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we did quite the long investigation again, and we uncovered a few key things. Number one, we learned that the SL9 incident was a serial killing incident that involved the likes of Jake Marshall, who was once a detective, Angel Starr, who we already know was once a detective, Bruce Goodman, who was also a key player in the investigation of that case, and some unknown entity. Well, not entity, but person. I don't know why I'm humanizing him like that. And Damon Gant was also apparently involved in the case too, as the deputy chief of police at the time. So a lot of the new people that are showing up here seem to be involved with this SL9 case in some fashion or another. And yet, right as this murder incident occurred, and yet right as the last detective that was on the force that was involved with the case dies, more evidence leaking to the SL9 case starts showing up. So it's quite an interesting coincidence. On top of that, we also, towards the end of my investigation, uncovered some bloody handprints in the evidence room where the supposed murder of Bruce Goodman took place. The second location he was supposedly killed. And we found Jake Marshall's handprint in there, right where the bloody handprint was, where I could lift some fingerprints. So that seems to place him at the scene of the crime. Right in the scene of the crime where Officer Meekins was apparently found and arrested on suspicion of having stabbed Bruce Goodman himself. So my main objective today is to try to, I guess, get Meekins declared innocent and try to find out what Marshall's bloody handprints were doing inside the evidence room. What the deal with all that is. And then just go from there. So with that said, let's just go ahead and get things started. February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in two different places at the same time, and a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? Basically, what she means is she's going to confess to some crimes in order to get a lesser sentence. We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana! Don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. At least right now you're not just simply telling me, "No, let me be declared guilty! Guilty, I say!" I prefer no cooperation compared to the exact opposite of cooperation. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 9. How many courtrooms are in this place? Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is... The prosecution is... Got it. I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slayed at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In doing so, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, and yet he's probably not. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. Exactly. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait. In some cases, yes. Putting on a good front can be beneficial. Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir! I am Officer Meekins, sir! My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir! With that much sweat pouring down your face, you could fill a drinking cup with it. And no, I wouldn't recommend you go around drinking sweat. That's disgusting. So you're telling us you're a professional killer. Sir! It was me, sir! I'm the one who did it! I'll never kill anyone again, sir! You've got to believe me, sir! Actually, what we'd like to... sir! I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir! A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend! Well, in your case, I can totally believe it. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Help me, sir! Officer Meekins. Yes, sir! Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir! As you wish! After all, I am a part of a generation now to be told what to do, sir! That is unbelievably sad. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. No, I guess not, but... a lot of other things I can, though. Like intelligence. Although it is not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. I thought you woke up alone. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you! That's the Meekins family motto, sir. Your family is messed up. I see. Then you fainted, and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir! He knocked me upside the head, sir! Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. So we gotta press! Press him good. Press him until he's flat like a sheet of paper. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir! Yikes! Now, there's a scary thought. You will not get any argument from me on that whatsoever, Phoenix. Squeenix. I keep forgetting to use your nickname. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which means many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. Blue Badger? Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very important mission. After the awards ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I spotted the suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room! In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one here right around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is! I found it! It's the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir! It's 4895. It's 489596. That's my number, sir. I see. Huh? Number 4989596 is shown as being used twice. So it is. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. The second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... Yes, sir! That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Okay, we got this updated. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. Okay, so let me look at the IDs thingy. So we got all numbers accounted for except for the one at the very top, 7777777. Who the hell is 7777777? So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir! A knife! Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was! You weren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. Nope. That's when I reacted, sir! I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him! That's how I got this gash on my hand! Maybe if you could just keep your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life! Then I did it! What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. I see. He must have been desperate. Yeah, clearly. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then next thing I knew, Yes? He punched me right in my face, sir! After that, I passed out, until another officer smacked me awake. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious! Oh. Right. Dumbass has got a point. According to a report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too! I woke up crying tears of pain! That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. Do you delight in this poor young officer's suffering, Sir Judge? When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir! The Blue Badger, sir! I returned to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins? With regard to that, sir. Take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gantz delivered to me just this morning, sir. The chief delivered it? What is that? A videotape? I still see Japanese kanji on the label. They forgot to localize that. Yes, sir! That's absolutely right, sir! A videotape, sir! It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. Objection! What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. You're in the wrong line of work then. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? You have no idea. I detect 30 frames per second, bare minimum. Actually, maybe that should be 15. Okay, so the glove slipped out. There's the meek boy. Yeah, they definitely slowed down the frame rate on this thing. Which, to me, is odd. Because, well, this is a PC remaster. Well, I've seen a few things that stood out to me. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell is that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir! Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video. Video from the security camera placed in the evidence room. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room in some sort of Activity, Your Honor. Instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir! As you wish, sir! Mystery Man. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the door. He opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints to do. Well, that's just the thing. He did, and he didn't. Because that's one of the first things I noticed in the video. I wish there was a fast forward feature on this damn thing. See the indicator light on the locker right there? It's already on. So the locker was technically already open. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir! So it must be him! No one else could have unlocked it! What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker, equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead. But everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Yes, indeedy. Let's begin. His face can't be clearly seen in the video. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Sir, you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face. I believe I'd be classified as the latter? The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh, yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir, because you were too busy emulating the fucking octopus, I know. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking to them, you see. Or fighting them, too, apparently. Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. Still, I'm sure it was him! I'll bet my badge on it! Well, then, be prepared to lose your badge. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. Well, you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it. Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or... Meekins! Eek! Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claim the man who brandished the knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you were positive it was him. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them? No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir. I wonder what kind of methods he tried. I bet a lot of them involved a rock. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must have be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point! And this too? I think I need to present here. The videotape. Objection! Yep! Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that The man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction?
Objection!
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? Don't ruin my don't break my mojo, man! I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. You'd want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let's further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video? It's the first time I ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. I wish I could do that just through normal examination. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't pay it to play too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? I don't think you want the answer to that, because it might give you nightmares. And maybe us too. Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman? Okay. Right here.
Take that!
The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir! Do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. It was already on, meaning it was unlocked. Is it me, or did that hand have long, sharp-looking nails? When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. No, it's just the character model. Here, notice the light. What's this? It's already lit. It's lit. You could say it's legit. I'm sorry, that was a lame pun. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Yeah! Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh, well. Just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? So you don't consider me a novice, Judge? That's very nice of you. Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? You know, honestly, why am I the one who has to point this freaking thing out here? How the hell would I know? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed to the system's sensor? Something jammed to sensor? Say, there's someone else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. I already know what jammed it. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well. Let's inspect the video once more. The locker was unlocked. Mr. Wright, please point out the... I wasn't done reading that shit! Okay, fine, whatever. Let's just fast forward. There! This glove.
Take that!
Please watch closely. This is a continuation of the part I showed you earlier. I wonder if they slowed it down because some of the animation was pretty quick and made it hard to stop the video at certain points. That's probably why. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir! It's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I open my... That's nice. We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say... between the sensor and the door? Inserted? This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. How the hell do you manage that? It's tucked into your damn uniform, isn't it? But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But the crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator, you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? This thing! I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that it was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear so, sir! Order! 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 So are we to believe, then, that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Objection!
Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir? Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? I think we've long since established that this courtroom that we're in, Squeenix, is sometimes run by people who should be put in kindergarten. Very well. Begin your testimony. Like Santa Claus here. Mystery Man 2. There's one other thing that proves that the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When the ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. An ID card record. Well, someone could have taken the damn card. I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? That is a good question. This particular evidence room is used only for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. So that would mean then that the SL9 incident involved police staff. So does that mean then, Edgewort, that somebody from the police got directly involved with the violent killings, as it were, in some fashion? Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. Yeah, for you, definitely not. There are only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right. I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination. Alright. I think we're going to just press on some stuff for now. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you? Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign! Then just use your other hand. Couldn't you just use his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second. Ain't that the truth? Enter the evidence room, let's look at the ID card. Is that card hanging from your neck one of those ID cards? Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuffs, sir. I keep it there so I won't ever forget it. What if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of the car? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. No, you shouldn't! At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. Okay? Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this... Mr. Edgeworth! Your name is on here! So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence. Mommy, isn't that man in blue a murderer? Shh, don't stare at him. You got the wrong color, kid. It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. Time of the crime, detective had used his card. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir! He didn't show me any ID card, sir! Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There would be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked. Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show him what we've got. Okay.
Objection!
Well, that's impossible because it was lost. We found it at the prosecutor's office. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir! I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report? It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing, though it doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. You suck. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Meaning that, we're right back to the prosecutor's parking lot, and Lana is the prime suspect. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime can only take place at one location. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness, Observe the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. She may be a lot of things, but she is not trustworthy as a witness. Ah! I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Yes, there's still at least one other thing on that tape that I want to point out, if you'll let me. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Object!
Objection!
One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. Well, I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. Prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh? Whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name? Aw, I was hoping to present Edgeworth. What would happen if I pressed Bruce Goodman? Mr. Wright, I'm not even going to bother asking you why. I've never seen a more obvious stall tactic in my entire career. Mr. Wright, don't you remember what you said this morning? You know, about your trump card? That's right. That's right. Those bloody fingerprints we found in the evidence room. That was my chance of bringing him in to testify. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Okay, look, enough goofing around. Officer, Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. I'm about to ruin this whole this Texas Ranger's whole entire career. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? You trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. No, we're just sitting here just looking solemn and gloomy just for the fun of it. Please, come in. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe. What is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run around all day while on duty. And to tip it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked? Oh. You mean this, right? That is a lot of paper. My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I borrow you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here. You might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Miss Sky was a witness? Maybe we'll find out more if we read. SL9 incident files. Files for the Joe Dark killings, solved 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Alright, let's take a look at this thing. Incident number SL9, closed. Perpetrator, Joe Dark. Crime, serial murder, sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jebin Bates, Jason Knight, Rachel Moss, Neil Marshall. There's a Marshall in these, and there's a Marshall in this name here. Now, who else has last name Marshall? Also, I do believe that, as Edward pointed out, the SL9 incident was basically a case kept in that specific evidence locker because it was a violent case involving members of the police. So, I think we can say that even if this Neil Marshall is not part of the police force themselves, Jake Marshall certainly was. So maybe by extension we can link this, link Jake to Neil Marshall. Something to keep in mind. Trial data. Head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses Lana Sky and Emma Sky. So, Emma, you were part of this thing too. Why didn't you say anything? Investigation Task Force. Executive Investigators. Damon Gant and Lana Sky. Head Investigator. Bruce Goodman. Investigators Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. So, these are a couple interesting little tidbits we just learned. Oh, what? Now now that I brought you your stuff, you're not just gonna ignore me. Emma? But why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana! This SL9 incident... Is that... That's the classification number of the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as... the Joe Dark killings. Joe Dark? No. No. Lana! That's over with! No! Emma, wait! She ran away. You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Emma, come back! I need my co-counsel! Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't just be a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. Better take a good look at this file. To be continued. So, we got a pretty solid link to Jake Marshall and the SL9 incident, besides him just being an investigator. Apparently, there is a victim that is in there that shares the same last name as him. Now, who are they exactly? Well, we're going to try to figure that out in the next episode, along with why he was in the evidence room. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.